For maximum picture quality, it may be necessary to adjust the tracking control on your VCR.
When we come back, the comeback kid.
The face hasn't changed, but Macaulay Culkin is all grown up and talking for the first time about his stolen childhood. And the father, he says, drove him too hard and then walked out.
No note, no goodbye, no explanation.
"2020 continues with The Comeback Kid. Once again, Barbara Walters.
He was a child star as famous around the world as Shirley Temple. We're talking about Macaulay Culkin. At age 10, he shot straight to the top, making movie after movie, accumulating an immense fortune, until suddenly, at 14, he dropped out of sight. Why? Where has he been for the past 6 years? Tonight, for the first time, Macaulay Culkin's untold story, his struggles with fame and a domineering father, a surprising marriage at 17, he tells it all, and the price he has paid for success. We all remember this little boy. Home Alone was the most successful comedy in history, and Macaulay Culkin became the most famous child in the world.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
From 1990 to 1994, he was one of Hollywood's hottest properties, starring in movie after movie, including Home Alone 2,
Yes!
My Girl, and Richie Rich, where he played America's wealthiest kid.
Hi!
Not much of a stretch for him at that point. He was the highest paid child actor ever, reportedly making $8 million per film at his peak. And then at age 14, he seemed to have dropped off the face of the earth. Why did he abandon his career? What happened to Macaulay Culkin? You stopped working as an actor 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What have you been doing for 6 years?
Well, I decided to go to school. It was starting out high school. So I decided to tell my mother, tell my representatives, tell everybody that I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go to school. I want to make friends. I want to do my thing. So don't even bring up movies. Don't bring up acting. Don't bring up anything, because that's not who I am and that's not what I want to be. I told them to call it retirement, call it whatever they wanted. I just said I would never wanted to do it again, and so don't even bring it up.
But now, at the age of 20, he is doing it again, acting for the first time in 6 years. He recently opened in a play in London, Madame Melville, for which he's getting mostly glowing reviews.
You rhyme as the heart pumps, as you breathe.
He plays a 15-year-old who was taught about love and life from an older woman.
What do they say?
They love each other. They want to be together.
I recently caught up with him in London, where he was finally ready to talk about his difficult childhood and what he was doing during those long lost years. A lot of people, I think, feel because you were a child star that you have spent the last 6 years battling drugs and alcohol and spending all your money. You know, the cliche story.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I remember I got a call from my lawyer, Ken Weiner, one day, and he called me up and he said, oh, hey, Mac, you there? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And he goes, oh, so you're still alive? And I go, yeah, I'm still alive. Why? He's like, well, CNN just called me and they got an unconfirmed report of you dying of a drug overdose. And I go, oh, well, thank you very much. No, I'm still around. I always kind of felt that it was almost expected of me in a way. And I think that's kind of why I stayed away from it.
You never did drugs?
Experiment, but nothing serious.
Could you keep the money you made?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Actually, both my parents were smart enough to put most of it, about 90% of my money, into a guarded account that even I couldn't touch until I turned 18. And so when I turned 18, I kind of found out how much was built up in there, because they never told me how much I made or how much I had built up.
You don't have to work for the money then.
Oh, no, it was never about that. I mean, I knew, when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life, that I could sit around and watch TV all day, and my kids would still go to college, and I'd still be able to live comfortably. But it wasn't about that.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Fine.
Some children, it seems, are born with the desire to perform. I mean, you see them at 3 years old, you know, doing a little number. Were you the kind of kid that begged your parents to let you perform?
No, I wasn't like one of those types. I mean, of course, I was always trying to get as much attention as I could possibly get. It was fun. It was fun. But I was only 6. I mean, what better do you know?
Instead of presents this year, I just want my family back.
At 10, your whole life changed because you made Home Alone this enormous success.
I remember I was just a normal kid in the neighborhood, and it came out, and within like a week or two, all those kids in the neighborhood that I used to hang out with were peering in my window and trying to catch a glimpse of me and stuff like that, and it just all hit very fast. I tried to fight it. For a long, long time, and I've tried locking myself, not leaving, you know, my apartment, and, you know, but that's not healthy.
You stayed in your room and watched television?
Oh, yeah, I did that a lot. I did that for a couple of years. I did that.
Really?
Yeah, and I was perfectly content doing it.
Although in the Home Alone films he had a loving, if occasionally absent family, in real life he says his father was a constant and controlling presence. Culkin was the third of 7 children. His mother stayed home with his brothers and sisters, while his father traveled with him from movie set to movie set. He managed his son's career and is said to have alienated most of Hollywood with his rages and excessive demands. Tell me about your mother. Tell me about your father.
I mean, I've always really, really loved my mother so much. She's really a wonderful woman. I don't know, my father was very good at breaking people's spirits and holding them down. And he did that to all of us, including my mother.
Your father was described as the father from hell.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember that. I remember him sitting on the phone screaming his head off at God knows who. And I mean, that was a daily thing. And it was just the way my father was, so I just kind of accepted it. I mean, you have to remember that I was only 9, 10, 11, 12. I had no control over it.
What was he like with you?
He was the same way on the phone with these people in Los Angeles as he was with me and the rest of my family. It's very weird, because I know whatever I say about him, he's going to try to contradict everything I say. But, you know, yes, he was very hard on me. And he would deny me certain things in my life that I enjoyed. Like if he felt I wasn't trying hard enough or something like that, he wouldn't let me play basketball, even though I liked doing it. My brother and me slept on the couch. We didn't even have our own bedroom. I mean, I was making, forget about how much money I was making, but I was sleeping on the couch. And
why?
I think it was just a way of him wanting to break my spirit. He wanted me to know, and my brother to know, that he was in charge, and that if he didn't want us to sleep on a bed, we weren't going to sleep on a bed.
I don't want to be maudlin, but did he ever hug you? Did he ever say, I love you?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it was, he never really did it unless it was for show.
If one really wants to complain about him as an outsider, it might be that he made you do film after film after film.
I mean, I had no say. I've done 14 films, and I've never read one of the scripts, not one of them. And I had a basic idea of what it was about, but I wouldn't actually know what it was until I'd actually go to the premiere and I'd see it. We'd study the lines the night before.
You
go
and
out
your
there
father?
And say, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd study the lines, go out there, and then just do it. And come back, do the lines that night, come back in the morning. It was just, that was the cycle.
There was no fun. It was just study, spit it out.
Basically. I didn't want to do it anymore.
Roll sound.
I knew at least I wanted to have a break.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted, because it was one after the other. I never did a full year of school, never really had a full summer vacation, stuff like that. So I remember I went up to my father and I asked him, I said, you know, I think I need some time off. I'm really, really exhausted. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And the next thing I knew, I was on the next set, you know, doing the next thing. And I mean, especially after that, I really turned myself off.
Also, your career was going down because your father put you in so many different kinds of movies that it was almost as if by the, well, you know, you did Richie Rich and you did the Nutcracker.
And then Getting Even with Dad and all those things. I was actually very happy that they were not being as successful. I was hoping to disappear off the face of the earth.
How are you going to disappear?
I don't know, just I figured that people would forget about me. And if I just locked myself in a room for long enough and, you know, grew up, I figured people would just forget about that kid.
He had few friends at the time, but did feel a kinship with one famous pal, Michael Jackson.
And after, like, the Home Alone film came out, I remember I got a call from him. He invited me and my family up to his ranch to meet him, because me and him have led similar childhoods in certain forms.
Mr. President-elect, Mrs. Clinton.
And I think we understand each other in a way that most people can't understand either of us.
Are you friends today?
Yeah, we're good friends. We still talk all the time. I'm his children's godfather. His kids are so beautiful. I love them so much. They're so great.
But his own childhood continued to be anything but great. He was finally able to stop making movies at 14 when his parents separated and his father could no longer control his career. But he couldn't, as he'd hoped, disappear. A bitter custody battle between his parents kept him in the headlines.
Oh, I have any comments?
His mother claimed his father was physically and emotionally abusive, charges his father vigorously denied.
We all always knew that we were going to end up with my mother, that there was no way that if any judge saw the evidence against my father, that he would get custody. And so I wasn't sweating it so much. It was just the way that the press was treating it.
I remember those headlines. Your mother said your father was drunk and abusive. He was, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely.
At one point, you called the police about your father.
Yeah. I went off somewhere for the weekend, and I didn't tell him. And he got he got angry with me, and gave me a nice swipe across the cheek. And I just went down, and then he told me to get up. And I said, and I looked at him, I was like, I'm not gonna fight you, because I knew that's what he wanted me to do. He gave me another one. And my brother had walked into the apartment or something like that, and I just said, you know, F you, I'm gonna, and I closed my door, locked it, called the cops on him. That I just wanted him to know that I wasn't going to let him get away with those kind of things anymore.
During this custody battle, you found out from a television news report that your mother and father had never married.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I felt that it someone should have told me.
Your father eventually decided not to fight the custody battle. Yeah, and one day he just...
He upped and left.
Just disappeared.
Yeah.
No note, no goodbye, no explanation.
That's exactly what he did. Actually the day of the trial. And he just didn't show up, and that was it. It was over.
Have you heard from him in 6 years? Birthdays, Christmas?
No, not at all. And it's very funny, because he sent me a telegram on opening night out here.
What did it say?
All the luck on a long and successful run. You will, as always, be wonderful, Dad, it said. And I thought it was very funny that it's been about 4 years, and not that I want him to make contact, I actually really don't, but he made contact with me just because I'm doing something, because I'm getting back to work. And that says a lot about a person.
Do you want to see your father again?
I don't think I would. I don't think he's willing to say some of the things he should say.
At 17, headlines again.
Hey, Macaulay.
You got married.
Yes, I did.
To another 17-year-old, a very fine actress named Rachel Miner.
Yes.
And people said, 17?
Listen, we were in love. We went to school together at the professional children's school. And no, I'd been in love with her for years. And this is how he conveyed it. We got married. And, we still love each other. And it's just a very weird situation right now.
Why?
We were getting to a point where whether or not we liked each other, and love and like are two very different things. And I think we both needed to take a step back. We're just figuring out where we are right now.
The rumors were that you were your reclusive self.
Yeah, no. I had to learn how to talk and how to communicate, and I should have done it more.
Right now, Culkin is separated from his wife. He said that he's fighting the urge to stay inside, even though he still feels uncomfortable dealing with fans.
You signed today on that one, if you don't mind.
Although he is now 20, To many, he will always be that little boy in the movies. When you walk down the streets now in London, you're recognized. People stop you.
Yeah, no, it happens. There you go.
Thank you.
Do you like it now?
I've accepted it now.
You accept it.
But, you know, I'm not sure if I necessarily like it.
Do you date?
No, I'm not really dating. I'm not in any rush.
Did you know many women, young girls? Did you date very much before you married Rachel?
Not really. I only dated one other woman before.
So you're relatively inexperienced, as they say.
I guess you can put it that way. You know.
If you have children, would you let them go into show business at an early age?
Ooh, well, if I did, it would be very, very different than what it was. But I think I'd probably keep them away from it.
Tell me why you were not a total mess. I mean, given the background, you know what I'm saying? Given the background, given the childhood, given the career, why aren't you just the most mixed up, neurotic young man? And maybe you are, and I just haven't
Yeah,
seen
no,
it.
exactly. Maybe I have a good front or something. I don't know. I can't say. I just know that I really needed this time off. I really needed to take my time, take a deep breath, take a step back, kind of realize everything that happened. I'm trying to be the best person I can be. And that's what I've realized. How, in the scheme of things, in the scheme of life, you know, in the very, very end, you're not a press statement, you're not a film, you are not your career. I have my family, I have my friends, I have basically everything I need in life right now.
You're not home alone.
No, I'm not home alone.
By the way, Macaulay's father, Kit Culkin, declined to comment for our story. It's clearly a sad situation for both sides.